It's fantastic to be part of Health Visiting Week. At Best Beginnings, we're passionate about collaboration and working with health visitors and professionals of all backgrounds and parents across the country to really make a difference. In my talk, I'm going to be telling you a bit about the charity Best Beginnings, which many of you know about already, and about Baby Buddy, our award-winning app that is being used by actually more health visitors at the moment than any other professional group around the country. At Best Beginnings, we work to give every child in the UK the best start in life. And that's why our vision is so closely aligned to you as the health visiting community, and why I'm so pleased to be part of Health Visiting Week. Our aim at Best Beginnings is to directly and inform and empower parents, and also to support you as frontline workers in the important work that you do, so that together we can reduce inequalities in outcomes. As many of you will know, you'll have probably seen this graph from the Marmot Review. If you look at status quo, there are poor outcomes if you are from a poorer family, but we also know it doesn't need to be like this. And we work to ensure that whatever your background, by working in those early weeks and months and years, by the time kids are at school, there isn't this unacceptable economic income gradient. Because the bottom line is, the evidence tells us that parenting and support and access to information trumps money in the bank. So everything we do at Best Beginnings focuses on this wonderful window of opportunity, from preconception to the child's third birthday. And those of you that know me and Best Beginnings well know that actually we've not yet gone earlier than conception, nor have we gone beyond the first birthday. And as we enter our second 10 years as a charity, we're going to be going earlier and later to complete this whole window. We're passionate about collaboration. The whole is always more than the sum of its parts. And we're about using new technology and the power of film, and really whatever it takes to get the information and the knowledge to the families who need it most. Everything we do is from the evidence, and we're also committed to establishing the efficacy of everything that we do, because life is a learning curve and we're on it together. So in a nutshell, as many of you already know, we create resources and interventions nationally, and on every one of those projects we've always had and do have a CPHVA and IHV representative. We have representatives from all the relevant Royal Colleges, quality assuring the resources we make, but as importantly, we get input from hundreds of parents around the country. We then work to take our national resources to make them work at a local level. And then we evaluate what we do, and then we disseminate. And that's, I guess, this talk is an example of me sharing our work and our findings with you all. I don't often have time, and this is another example of a talk where there isn't time to really explain more about the theoretical underpinning that sits behind what we're doing. It's informed by change management methodology and the brilliant work of Susan Mitchie and her colleagues at UCL, designed to really drive change, understanding that it takes capability, motivation and opportunity. And I would really encourage you all to look at the work of Susan Mitchie at UCL and her colleagues. In this talk, I'm going to explain what we do and really map it on to the health visiting programme and the 6 high impact areas. But I'm going to kickstart with a film that explains what we do in a nutshell. It was produced for a fundraising event that we had a couple of weeks ago, and it features the presenter and model Abby Clancy. Don't worry, I'm not inviting you to join our Springboard Major Donor Programme, but actually it's important for you to be mindful that we are a charity, and I'm out there in between giving talks and developing interventions, securing funds so that we can continue doing the work that we do. And, for example, take Baby Buddy to the 3rd birthday, which is something we've been wanting to do for a while. So here goes.
Imagine 2 babies born in different places. One of them is 4 times more likely to die in infancy, more likely to be admitted into hospital, and more likely to develop diabetes and obesity. This isn't a contrast between Britain and the developing world. It's the difference between being born in Bradford and Bath. Best Beginnings is a charity dedicated to closing this gap and giving all children across the UK the best start in life. The charity provides life-changing information and support to parents through pioneering films and the multi-award-winning Baby Buddy app. Together, these resources have reached over 2 million families across the UK, all to help parents look after their mental and physical health and help them maximise their children's physical, emotional and language development. I'm so impressed with Best Beginnings that I've become an active supporter of the charity. I'm in very good company. The Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Prince Harry have chosen Best Beginnings as one of the 8 national charities to work with the Royal Foundation to spearhead the Heads Together campaign to change the conversation around mental health. Like their Royal Highnesses, I love the Baby Buddy app. Within Baby Buddy, there are over 200 films covering important topics. It gives relevant and reliable information every day, and it's so interactive and fun.
Best Beginnings is a small charity, but we've managed to reach more than 2 million families across our various projects over the last several years, using art, using films, using apps, whatever it takes really to shift things.
It's really important work. It's about reducing inequalities and it's about starting life right. And what really appeals to me and is of interest to the Royal College of Midwives is the idea of professionals working in partnership with parents.
We need to move with the current parenting population. We need to move with what they're doing, where they're going for information and what technologies they're using and what avenues they're accessing things by. And Best Beginnings is really at the forefront of that.
Best Beginnings has plans to help millions more parents give their children a springboard to achieving their potential, including plans to extend Baby Buddy to the 3rd birthday, to create a version for fathers and for parents of premature and sick babies. We also plan to launch a powerful new series of films about maternal mental health that will raise awareness and ensure women get the right help at the right time. You and I can help make these powerful plans a reality. I have launched the Best Beginnings Springboard programme to give us the opportunity to help Best Beginnings give millions of parents across the UK the knowledge and the confidence to give their children a flying start. So I invite you to step on that springboard with me and help make a lasting difference to the lives of children and families across the UK.
So in that film, you got a sense of the different resources we've created, and many of you in your day-to-day work as health visitors do use many of them. In my talk, I'm going to be focusing really on Baby Buddy as this powerful public health intervention that's just in the guise of a fun and funky app, and how our other film resources all feed into Baby Buddy. But first, just a few sentences about Baby Express. Baby Express is an age and stage magazine that takes families month by month to their baby's first birthday. And the issues where it's being used across the country are gifted by the health visitor to the mother initially, and then each area is doing it in their own way, but often they're being delivered the subsequent issues in a children's centre or in some group setting to kind of increase engagement with the local services. It complements all the work that we're doing with Baby Buddy, and it acknowledges that some people, up to 20% of people, are digitally excluded. And as with all our resources, Baby Express is quality assured, it's very pictorially driven, and it helps you understand your role as a brain builder and supports you in your emotional and physical transition to parenthood. It's been evaluated, and it's been shown through an RCT to have impact on the validated tool called the Parenting Hassle Score, and that piece of academic work is published in Pediatrics. There have been some more recent evaluations. For example, a piece of work in Manchester where the evaluators found that it's being pretty much universally liked and used. But now onto the headline act, which is Baby Buddy. I've been talking about this for years, long before I had funding for it, and some of you know it well, but many of you don't. So the idea behind Baby Buddy is intervention that takes families through pregnancy to currently 6 months of their baby's life to enable them to maximise their own mental and physical health and also their children's potential. That's language development, it's emotional development, physical development of their child. As of the 19th of September, we've got nearly 70,000 mums using the app. And then the next biggest group are healthcare professionals, which is exactly what I want to see happening. Because it's only if you download it and use it and look at the 200 films within Baby Buddy that you're going to be able to recommend it with veracity and actually almost curate the content, highlighting parents to particular films or functions within the app that can support them and support your relationship with them. We're so delighted that over 7,000 fathers are using the app, dads and partners. We're desperately trying to secure funding for Dad's app, and I hope by this time next year, I hope there'll be another Health Visiting Week, I'll be able to update you on that. Of the healthcare professionals using Baby Buddy, the biggest group, you're currently 41% of healthcare professional users, are health visitors, with the midwives just tucked behind at 39%. And depending on which talk I'm giving, you either go ahead or behind. So I'm really interested to see this graph in the next week or two after Health Visiting Awareness Week. And I hope that all of you, even during my talk, or if not, then after my talk, download it and start using it. This graph I won't dwell on too long. It's basically our pipeline of content creation. Everything that's in the app has been approved by health visitors, midwives, obstetricians, paediatricians, speech and language therapists and other key groups. And also every film is approved by a parent panel. And what I want you to do is start using the app, spotting bits of content that aren't there yet that you feel should be, and flag them to it. And it can go into our production pipeline. If it's written, we can get it in relatively quickly. If it's new films, then we need to find the funding. And it's because of this robust quality assurance process that the app was at launch and still continues to be endorsed by all these organisations. So at the heart of the app, there is this nugget of knowledge based on the baby's age or stage, and it mentions the mum and the baby and the partner or dad by name. But if there isn't a dad, you get different content. Equally, on the postnatal side, if you're not breastfeeding, you get different messages than if you are. So it really feels very personal to the user. And it covers everything from bonding, attunement, immunisation, pelvic floor exercises. It isn't about one thing. The power of Baby Buddy is that drip, drip, drip effect with as much focus on mental health as on physical health. And the films are embedded within the daily information, but as I'll show you in a bit, there's also standalone sections where the videos are. One of the things that mums love the most about Baby Buddy is that you can create your own digital best friend. There's over 1 million versions. Here's quite a funky one with the glasses in the bag. For those male health visitors out there, remember you're not creating yourself, you're creating your virtual friend. And as a healthcare professional using the app, we do encourage you actually to create your avatar, not just to choose one, so you can get a sense of the journey of engagement that the avatar delivers. And it's not just the young mums that are liking it. All the feedback tells us that women love it at all ages. This is a 1-minute film that I'm about to play that is being shown in GP surgeries around the country. If you want it for your community setting, let us know. We can get you a copy of it. Here we go.
Are you a new parent or about to become one? Baby Buddy is the free award-winning mobile phone app for parents-to-be and new parents. Create your own personal baby expert who will guide you through your pregnancy and the first 6 months of your baby's life. Baby Buddy has been created with mums, midwives and doctors, so let them tell you more.
As soon as I wake up, I know that there's new information, so I just quickly click on it.
I can put the appointments in to help me remember that I've got to be at a certain place at a certain time.
Just not only track your progress of pregnancy, but also ask questions.
This app really is what I call the future of healthcare.
Over 99% of mums find Baby Buddy easy to use, and 95% find it helpful in preparing for parenthood. Baby Buddy helps you to look after yourself and give your baby the best start. Download Baby Buddy for free today.
I'm so proud that key people in public health, including our chief nurse, Liz Bennett, have been supportive of Baby Buddy way before it even launched. So this was a quote from Viv in the lead up to the launch in November 2014. And what's brilliant is to see that her expectation has become a reality, and all the hard work that my team have put in, because it has been an extraordinary labour of love, has led to 3 awards on the top row, and then us being shortlisted for some other awards, which we're waiting to hear from, so wish us luck in the coming weeks. And Baby Buddy is winning the awards, not only because mums like it, but because of how it's been developed in co-creation with professionals to support the conversations you're having with families and to support delivery at the Universal Plus and Universal Partnership Plus levels. So we're here to help. It's not instead of anything. It's to augment and amplify the brilliant work you do as frontline workers. We have developed this structured embedding program where it's often a local authority commissions us to do it, where we go into that locality. Many of you may be in areas where we've already done this, and we co-create a plan about how to integrate Baby Buddy to deliver to your needs of the community that you serve. That process always ends in a local launch, and then we can track the uptake and usage and feedback of the app in that local area. Blackpool was our first embedding site, and there we're almost at 40% of the birth cohort using Baby Buddy. And what we consistently see is the areas where we have embedded have much more downloads, but also the app is being used in a more rich way, and the feedback is even better. At the moment, we're embedded in these areas across the country, and in time, I hope that your local authority, if you're not one of them, will get us involved to do some really in-depth work in your area. But there's so much we can do right now based on the fact that Baby Buddy is free, and also we've got free leaflets and posters that you can order from the Best Beginnings office. So in the next little bit of this talk, I'm going to highlight some of the features and really give you a little sense of the sort of things Baby Buddy can help you do in your frontline practice. One of the key things is it gets rid of the Google effect. People can find information by searching for it within Baby Buddy, but confident in the knowledge that everything in there has been quality assured. The daily information, the more familiar you are with it, and then if you're seeing a mum at that age, and if you know they're using Baby Buddy, you might draw their attention to films they might have just seen or things they should be looking out for in the coming weeks, for example, in the lead up to immunisations. The goal-setting feature is being used much more in the embedding areas and non-embedding areas. So I just want to draw your attention wherever you are in the country. If you're doing work with a mum, it might be her taking time for herself. It might be about giving the baby tummy time. It might be about something a bit more on the physical front, about some medication. She can set herself a goal, and you can support her to do this, to actually put it into the app, and then it will send her reminders. You can share how you're doing with the goal. You might encourage the mums you're supporting to share with friends and family how they're getting on. It could be about smoking cessation, for example. The Ask Me feature is really important. I want you to put into Baby Buddy questions that mums ask you, and then if it doesn't have the answers, let us know, because we're constantly adding new content. If you've got an upcoming appointment, it's worth knowing if the mum you're working with is using Baby Buddy, because she can actually get her appointment reminders, and if there's things you want her to bring to the appointment, you can actually support her to put that in. It says automatically, you might like to know, with a postnatal appointment, don't forget your red book. You can encourage mums to put things in to remember to ask. So if in between appointments, They can capture queries they may have, and the next time you meet with them, you can ask them if there's anything on the remember to ask list. They can take a photo of their baby every week, and in the app, make a video of their baby growing. Now, this isn't just kind of the fun stuff, but this is actually to support parents antenatally and postnatally to get their head in the game, to understand, but support them kind of on the emotional transition to parenthood, and also to support healthy behaviours. And equally, there's also the bump book and the baby book, kind of a reflective space that you can encourage parents to put their thoughts and their feelings in their photos. And you might then want to ask them to highlight any particular things that they've captured during a week when you do have visits. I mean, this is obviously more kind of on the Universal Plus, but this also works for the Universal Delivery. So in a number of the features of Baby Buddies, at today's information, the Ask Me, and of course the video feature, that all our films are there. What you'll spot is that all our existing film content in the form of Bump to Breastfeeding and Small Wonders are already in Baby Buddy, and things that haven't even yet launched are going to be in there. I can't say very much about Our Chance other than that it's going to be big and it's launching soon, and I encourage you to look out for it. On the left of this slide, you'll see Understanding Your Baby. We've been commissioned by Leeds. We're making a series of new films to go into Baby Buddy to support parents to understand their baby's nonverbal cues and support baby communication. And we've just launched a campaign in Medway that's led us to make new breastfeeding films. And they're now going through our editorial board process and will be going into Baby Buddy. And I'll draw out some of the films that we've done that really deliver to the 6 high-impact areas. But first, just a little bit about Small Wonders, because it's a project so close to my heart. Many of you who've heard me talk before know that I left the BBC and set up Best Beginnings because of my own challenging transition to parenthood with my kids with their very difficult starts. We made Small Wonders, not for me personally, but for the 80,000 babies born every year, preterm and sick. And those babies end up being overrepresented in your caseload because of the comorbidities and kind of associated with being born preterm. And health visitors don't know as much about the Small Wonders as I'd love them to. So I'm really just spending a moment to flag to you that we made this resource. It's there to support parents through the neonatal unit, but actually until their baby is 1 year old. And that if we can support parents who are in that difficult situation, we know the evidence tells us the outcomes are improved. We have a wonderful situation where there are free DVDs available now, and you can order them free from us for your location. And they're really useful for staff training and development, but also to use with the families that you support who've been on this journey. You can also watch all the content online and in Baby Buddy. Here's just a tiny 1-minute clip to give you a flavour of what's there.
Mark is the father of triplets born at 29 weeks gestation. They're now 2 weeks old. Today, their mother Katrina is at home resting and expressing breast milk. Both Katrina and Mark try to spend as much time as possible skin to skin with the babies, and one way of doing this is to hold 2 of the triplets at once.
Hello. Skin to skin with 2. I put 1 in at a time, set them all up inside the shirt. I've never worn so many shirts in all my life, just to make sure that I can open them up every time I come in. Loads of room. Let your little brother in. I think the only time that I kind of worry is when they're just about to kind of touch down, because I'm thinking I don't want a leg getting caught underneath their bottom or their... It's just such the best feeling. While you can only touch them for a limited amount of time and you can't just pick them up and hold them whenever you want. Every single moment that you can get to do this is just unbelievable. And more importantly, it's not just good for me, it's good for them too. So they can feel a heartbeat of a human being, a bit of physical contact. It's warm. It helps them to feel safe, secure and relaxed. And now, as long as they're happy, I'm going to be here for the next 2 to 3 hours. It's wonderful. Do it as much as you can.
Different babies progress differently. Staff on your neonatal unit will guide you as to when your baby is ready to come out of the incubator for skin-to-skin contact. You can learn more about some of the other ways you can play a vital role in your baby's care while they're on the neonatal unit in the other films in our series.
Resources are only as good as how they're used, which is why, in parallel to making the DVD, we recruited champions around the country and we've worked to embed the DVD into neonatal units, and we've commissioned an academic evaluation. The DVD, through all the insight work we did, we know parents saw its role as to inform, to reassure, to empower, and to prepare. To let you know that you're not alone, and that although it may be tough today, things can, and most often do, get better tomorrow. We've run champion days that health visitors have attended around the country, multidisciplinary days where we've supported you and your colleagues to think about how to use the DVD. Discharge planning is supposed to start on the day of admission. It doesn't always happen that way, and Small Wonders is here to help. It's being used already to support existing protocols, for example, around nutrition within neonatal units. It's not being used enough to support discharge planning, and that's why I wanted to take this moment in my talk to tell you about it, to encourage you to connect with your local neonatal unit and to think about how you can use it to support your families on that journey. So Small Wonders is out there as a national campaign, but there's so much more we can do, and I really encourage you to get involved. And so what I would encourage you to do, if you're supporting parents at high risk of preterm delivery, I'd encourage them, navigate them towards, show them the films in the app, and also families that you're supporting who've been on the journey. In the last section of the talk, I'm going to dive straight in on the 6 high impact areas for health visiting and how Baby Buddy is here to help. The whole app is about the transition to parenthood. It takes you on that journey with films, with daily information and support. I'm just going to show you one of the 200 plus clips in the film that gives you a taster of that.
I wouldn't change a minute of it, but coming to terms with having a new baby is incredibly stressful. And anyone that says, oh, I adapted to it really easily is not being completely honest with themselves, because there are moments that you will sit and cry, and that's perfectly normal. And a lot of people say to you, oh, it's postnatal depression. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes you just need to get it out. You just need to cry. I sat crying one night and just here, Paul had gone to sleep because he was that tired because he's working as well. I sat crying. She was there on me. And before I know it, she'd actually fallen asleep, sucking on her hand. And then I was able to put her down and she stayed asleep for a couple of hours and I was able to get sleep. And I woke up in the morning and everything was fine again. But sometimes you just have to kind of let go. You can't do everything. Sometimes you just got to let them figure it out as well, because it's all a learning curve for the babies too.
So what we're trying to do with Baby Buddy is to create that peer-to-peer voice, hearing from mums like you, knowing that you're not alone. But equally, there are many films, as I'll come on to shortly, there to flag that if you are feeling low or anxious for any period, other than, just those occasional moments, that you should and indeed you must seek help. One of the big focuses within Baby Buddy is your second high impact area, maternal mental health. And we got separate funding to make a series of films to cover perinatal mental health. And we all know, because of the great work of the Maternal Mental Health Alliance at HVw, IHV, Best Beginnings, and over 60 other organisations part of, that we can't afford not to really focus very heavily on perinatal mental health. And prevention is so much more effective in terms of outcomes, but also cost than cure. So there are films that are in production that are launching soon. It's called our Out of the Blue series, and I could talk a whole other talk about that, but I want to flag that it's coming, including a powerful new drama. HVw and IHV have been involved in the development of all those films. But what's already live, even before Out of the Blue launches, is over 50 mental health films within Baby Buddy. If you go in videos, you'll see that there's sections on healthy mind, which is very light touch, all the way through to really quite intense sections covering mother and baby units. It's all there. I want you to download the app, explore it, navigate, look at the film so that you know what to show which mums when. I'm only going to show you one clip of the 50, and it's one that cuts to the heart of what mums are worried about.
The most common reason I hear about for women not getting the help that they need is that they're too frightened to ask because they worry their baby's going to be taken away. And it's really important to emphasise that nothing could be further from the truth. We absolutely are not there to take babies away. Services and professionals are there to help women to get better with these sorts of difficulties. And if things are so bad that it's really very difficult for women to look after their babies, then there are mother and baby mental health units for them to go to with their baby and to recover from their illness at the same time as building a really good relationship with their baby. So everything that we are about as professionals and as people working in the field of supporting women with mental health difficulties at this time is about keeping mums and babies together.
The third high-impact area is breastfeeding. Well, as many of you know who've been on the journey with me at Best Beginnings since 2006, it's where we started as a charity. And we started with breastfeeding just because our rates are so low, because there's such huge inequalities in terms of who's starting and durations by age and socioeconomic group. Because it's such a powerful safety net against the impact that poverty has on health, that if it's going well, breastfeeding supports maternal mental health, but if it's going badly, it can exacerbate poor mental health. Of course, there's a cost savings to the system, but bottom line, 8 out of 10 women currently stop before they want to, and the films within Bump to Breastfeeding are there to help mums be successful. So it launched back in 2008, Bump to Breastfeeding, but what you may not know is that it was all updated in 2014, and it is still available in DVD form because of all the different languages that are in it, but that in addition to that, it's now available in Baby Buddy. This quote, to me, sort of sums it all up. I'll give you a moment to read it. In addition to a huge amount of qualitative research around Bump to Breastfeeding, we do also have the academic evaluation that was published in 2009 that led to those films being incorporated into the breastfeeding care pathway. And the good news is, thanks to technology, all those film clips are now available for free to download and watch within Baby Buddy. The top-line finding from that academic evaluation showed something terribly important to me. That across the country back in 2009, 71% of mums who were given the DVD watched it. But in Barnsley, which was an example area where they actively embedded the DVD and where frontline workers, midwives and health visitors were gifting it to mums and encouraging them to watch it, 96% of the mums in Barnsley did watch Bump to Breastfeeding. So I do want you to really home in on this fact. You as healthcare professionals are so trusted by parents that we as a small charity create powerful films, but whether or not they're watched fully or how much of them are watched and how much they're used to support the work you do really is down to you. In those embedding areas around the country where we're embedding Baby Buddy, we're also embedding Bump to Breastfeeding for those mums, for example, Arabic, Bengali, Somali, Urdu-speaking mums. We don't have the app in those languages, but we do have those languages on the Bump to Breastfeeding DVD. So many health visitors and midwives are saying they much prefer it in the app, because rather than having to find a DVD player, maybe you're in a baby clinic, maybe wherever you are, it's just there on the phone. Now, this is a moment in time when I'm going to tell you, it uses data to watch the films unless you're in a Wi-Fi zone. So if you're supporting a mum who doesn't have Wi-Fi at home, what we encourage you to do is, with her, we hope your children's centre has Wi-Fi, but to encourage the mum when she's in a Wi-Fi place to download a film and then press it as a favourite, and then it stays on her phone and she can watch it whether or not she's in a Wi-Fi zone without it costing. The rest of the app doesn't use any data, apart from the geolocation functionality that helps mums find local services. Now, this is one of the most used clips from Bump to Breastfeeding that's now in the app, and I'll just show you the first 20 seconds of it, just to remind you that it's there, and it's there to support you, supporting mums.
The baby's nose directly opposite the nipple. Let his head tip back a little so his top lip can brush against your nipple. This should make him open his mouth. When his mouth is wide open, he will take the breast with his head back and chin leading. The baby can then take in a large mouthful of breast, not just the nipple. The breast will be drawn deep into his mouth, so your nipple will go all the way back to the soft part of his mouth, and you won't get sore. So, once your baby's head has tipped back,
Moving on to the fourth high impact area, I'll whistle stop through this. There's quite a lot of information in the daily information about healthy weight. There are films that are about to go in through the Our Chance campaign. There's already some films within it about keeping active and preparing healthy food. So I just encourage you to keep looking and using what's there. Fifth high impact area is managing minor illnesses, and I just wanted to draw your attention to a series of films in there by Dr. Ranj, who's much loved from HVw fame, and I'll just show you one of his clips.
As a new parent, it's actually really normal to worry about your baby. Fortunately, most of the times we don't have to. In reality, your baby is going to get coughs and colds just like the rest of us. But luckily, the majority of them are going to be minor self-limiting illnesses, and they can be managed at home with just a bit of support. Sometimes babies do get serious illnesses, and in those cases, it is really important to ask for help if you're ever worried or if you're ever unsure. The films that we do in this section of the app will talk about those common illnesses that you might encounter with a newborn baby, the things that you can do at home that might help, and when you should be looking for extra advice.
And then moving onwards to the final high impact area, which again I think is really across all of Baby Buddy, getting children school ready. Well, where does it all start? It actually starts in utero, talking to your bump, bonding and attunement in utero, leading to bonding and attunement on delivery. But I'm going to end with my most favourite clip. Look at this lovely conversation.
Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Oh. Ooh. Ooh.
And now just a little bit about feedback on the app, and then some headlines for you to end with. What's brilliant is as much thought went into the analytics as in the front end. So we have got data on uptake, usage and feedback of the app. So we know that mums of all ages are using Baby Buddy, but that there's an overrepresentation of young mums. So what this slide shows in blue is the age distribution of the mums giving birth in England and Wales, and in green it shows the age distribution of Baby Buddy users. So it is for all parents. Don't only recommend it and use it with young mums, because mums of all ages are loving it. That said, we do have this proportionate universalism in action. I was so proud to see this data as well. I set about to create an app for everyone that really engage more difficult to reach groups, and I'm really proud that we've got an overrepresentation of NEETs, not in education, employment or training, mums amongst our Baby Buddy app users. We've also got an overrepresentation of pretty much all community languages, with a real overrepresentation, like really significant, of Polish, Urdu, Portuguese, Spanish and Romanian. And that's possibly because of the embedding areas. For example, one of the embedding areas is Bradford, but it's also because it's so visual and because healthcare professionals are recommending it to mums of all backgrounds. Mums are loving the app. We've got in-app pop-up questionnaires. We encourage you to encourage the mums who use support to complete the questionnaires, because knowledge is power, and we're listening to the findings. Mums are finding it easy to use. It's helping them prepare for parenthood, and it's helping them look after their own health. It's also helping them feel closer to their baby, helping them feel more confident to care for their baby, and importantly, helping them get more out of their appointments. Equally, feedback from professionals is phenomenal. I said at the beginning, 41% of the healthcare professionals using the app are healthcare professionals. 97.9% of professionals completing our in-app questionnaires are saying that they feel confident using the app, knowing that it's vetted, and that 95% of professionals agree that it contains evidence-based best practice information. 90% agree that it would be useful, and interestingly, 100% would recommend the app to parents to be with parents. So what does the future hold? We're on an app-tastic journey at Best Beginnings. We want you to help us and be on that journey with us. It's free. How much in life is free? You as health visitors helped us create it. Spread the word. Download the app. Order your free leaflets and posters. And if you want, also get involved in getting your local area to commission us to embed the app. And also, if you want, get involved in fundraising. We are constantly on the up with downloads, and you can help that trajectory go higher and higher. Our aim is that by 2020, 60% of the birth cohort will be using Baby Buddy. And as you saw in that Abby Clancy film at the beginning, we're in good company. Their Royal Highnesses are getting behind Baby Buddy through the Heads Together mental health campaign. And here is the Duchess of Cambridge talking to my son, Josh, who was the one that had meningitis, who's part of the inspiration behind Baby Buddy. Because of their Royal Highnesses, we are in a position to launch the Springboard programme. We've got major donors donating. We are very hand-to-mouth as a charity. We're looking to change that. We're not inviting you to become major donors, but if you want to give £5 or £10 a month to the charity, that would be amazing. I just want you to know that we're having to work hard to bring in the funds to be able to do more. The runners amongst you might want to run the marathon for us next year or get involved in other ways. So get involved, be part of the Best Beginnings family, drop me an email and give me your feedback, because together we really can and we really are making a difference for future generations. And that's my doggy Billy in the background agreeing. Have a brilliant health visiting week. You are fantastic. Day in, day out, you work tirelessly to support families. And here at Best Beginnings, we're just here to support you in the brilliant work you do.